Let me introduce you to the types of wire you'll typically be using when installing electrical in a residential space. Today I'm running Romex wiring in a room I'm finishing in our basement. And while I do, I'll be showing you some of the basic information you'll need in order to run your own electrical in your DIY project. Now, the room I'm finishing will become a maker space, which is kind of like an engineering workshop and crafting room combo. If you're on a project similar to mine, you have a few different types of wire you'll be using. And if you're not intentional about the type of wire you choose, you can build something that will need repairs down the road. You could hurt yourself, or you could even start a fire. You have to have the right wire for the job. There are 4 main types of wire you might be using: 12-2, 12-3, 14-2, and 14-3 Romex. The first number will be a 12 or a 14, and it represents the gauge of wire and tells you how thick it is. How about a fancy T-chart to explain the difference? Basically, 12 gauge wire Romex comes in a yellow jacket, and the copper is about the thickness of a nickel. 14 gauge Romex comes in a white jacket, and the copper is about the thickness of a dime. 12 gauge wire is rated for 20 amp circuits, while the thinner 14 gauge wire is rated for 15 amp circuits. Everybody loves a fancy T-chart. You're welcome, America. Make sure you use the right wire for the right job. 20 amp breakers in your breaker box get 12 gauge wire, and 15 amp breakers get 14 gauge wire. Mixing this up could lead to overheating and potentially a fire. The other number on your Romex will either be a 2 or a 3, and this is basically the number of insulated copper wires that come in the jacket. 12-2 and 14-2 will contain a black wire that's bringing the electrical load. The white wire is the neutral wire. The non-insulated wire is the ground wire and is a safety feature that'll make sure any shorts or inadvertent breaks in the circuits allow electricity to find a path other than your body or other materials to avoid injury or a fire. Now, 12-3 and 14-3 have these 3 wires along with a red wire. The red wire is considered a travel wire and is needed specifically for 3-way or 4-way light switches when you have more than one switch running the light. Please bear in mind as you're watching this that I am a science teacher by trade, not an electrician. Be sure to consult a licensed electrician on anything that doesn't make sense. Having said that, feel free to drop a comment below with any questions you may have, and I'll be happy to try to answer them. Okay, I'm running my outlets on a 20 amp circuit, so checking the T-chart, I'm gonna need 12 gauge wire for this. I'm running my lights on a 15 amp circuit, and so, again, checking the T-chart, I'm gonna need 14 gauge wire for this. From here, if you're like me and you have more than one switch controlling your lights, you're going to be running 14-3 wire between the electrical boxes. If you'd like to see this makerspace build from the beginning, I've got a playlist that you can check out right there. If you'd like to subscribe to this channel to follow along as I continue building this space, click the ManCycle logo right there. Thank you for watching. See you next time.